Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening,
It's
Nigel.
great to be here in Scotland. It's great to see the usual welcoming reception committee outside. But it's important to understand why. It's important to understand what's been going on in Scottish politics. There has been a deliberate attempt by the so-called nationalists to close down genuine, open, proper political debate in this country, and frankly, there's no one at the guts to fight them on it. The complete and utter myth that the SNP stand for independence. The myth that the referendum that took place a couple of years ago was about Scottish independence links directly into this referendum, and is why meetings like this today are so vital and so very important. What the SNP, what Scottish nationalism, as it dares to call itself, what they stand for and what they want to do is to separate from the United Kingdom, but to be a full member of the European Union. They are not Scottish nationalists. They are not for independence. They're little more than European regionalists, and that must be exposed. In fact, if you think about it, what is this referendum really all about? What it's about is a simple question. Do we, in the United Kingdom, wish to be an independent, self-governing, democratic nation, or part of a bigger European political project? That is what this referendum is all about. And the word independence we must take away from the SNP and the Scottish nationalists, and we, in this cross-party coalition of people who've come together from all walks of life, people who think that actually whether you're left-wing or whether you're right-wing is completely irrelevant in the context of a referendum. This is not about left or right, it's about right or wrong. So let us pick up that word independence. We are the people campaigning for the independence of the United Kingdom. And we're doing that because we believe the best people to govern Britain are the British people themselves. We're doing it because we know that all the lies and fears that are spread, you know, they wouldn't trade with us unless we were part of their union. Well, just look how many German motor cars there are on the British roads. Just look how much French wine and champagne is sold across the country every day. Understand that they sell us far more than we sell them. They need us far more than we need them. And outside of political union, we will go on doing business not just with the countries of the European Union, but be free to make our own deals with other parts of the world. And we would suggest on this platform tonight that our friends in the Commonwealth would be a very good place to start. And we will make the positive arguments that whatever money we get back, and oh, I've been asked all these questions today by the Scottish media, telling me how much money we get from the European Union. How genuinely grateful we ought to be to our European masters. Well, can we deal with that one too? There is no such thing as European money. It is our money, and we only get half of it back anyway. And we will go on making the positive arguments that not only will we be a democratic, independent nation, not only will we go on trading freely with our European neighbours, but have the chance to open ourselves to the rest of the world, but what we'll also do is take back control of our borders. Now, we saw yesterday that the Prime Minister, the government, are about to send a booklet to 27 million homes. Did you see that? They're going to spend £10 million of our money telling us what we should think and how we should vote. And frankly, my view on that is, what right does he have to to spend our money telling us what we should think in this referendum. And actually, given that we have an electoral commission, given that we now have rules and laws in this country as to how this referendum should be conducted, I saw that Elcom today said they weren't happy with what the government were doing, but sadly, they haven't got the teeth to do anything about it. Now, I've been musing what I'm going to do with this document when it comes through my front door. I've read the contents of it already, and I'll come back perhaps to one of those points in a moment. But what to do with that leaflet? Well, my suggestion is we think back to that old Elvis Presley hit, and we return to sender. Send it back to Downing Street. That's what I'm going to do. I hope they get millions sent back to Downing Street. Of course, they defend it by saying that people want facts. Well, yes, you're right. People do want facts, but not the list of false assertions that we've seen are going to be in that document. And the biggest and most outrageous lie of all that Cameron and the Remain campaign are trying to put upon us is they're saying if we vote to Remain, we will keep control of our borders. Oh, really? Will we? Well, we've all got one of these, haven't we? We've all got one of these. It's a British passport. But what are the first two words on it? European Union. And that passport is now shared by 508 million people. Any one of those 508 million people can come to live, work and settle in our country, and there is nothing we can do to stop them coming in completely unlimited numbers. We've got to kill this argument that somehow we have border controls when we don't. We've surrendered them completely to the European Union. And again, unlike them, making endlessly negative arguments, why don't we turn this into a positive? Why don't we say that we want to leave the European Union, take back control of our borders, do everything we can to stop bad people from coming into our country at a time of heightened terror alerts, and let's have an open, sensible immigration policy that recognizes that people coming into Britain can be good for us, provided they've got a trade or skill to bring, provided they haven't got a criminal record, provided they're prepared to bring their own health insurance. Only by leaving the EU can we put into place an Australian-style point system. Wouldn't that be better than the open borders that we've got today? I think we've got the arguments, and you know what? Whatever money Cameron spends on that piece of literature, and whatever nonsense you hear from the so-called nationalists in Scotland or elsewhere, I think there's a big change in the political weather, and it's happening not just in this country, it's happening across the rest of Europe too. You might have seen the Dutch had a referendum on Wednesday, and despite the fact the government spent a lot more than the No campaign won, and they won convincingly, and they're sending us a message. In fact, from right across Europe, we're being sent a message, ladies and gentlemen, we are not alone in our dislike and our distrust of our politicians handing over the future of our nation to a bunch of unelected bureaucrats in Brussels, and we want our country back. We want our country back. We've been told for the last few years that Scotland is different to the rest of the United Kingdom, and David, our chairman, talked about that in his speech earlier. But actually, the fact is we've never had the debate in Scotland because the parties in Holyrood are all in hoc to the European project. The word independence has been used and abused by the SNP in a way that is not a reflection of the truth. So let's have that debate. Let's have that debate. And let's add to all the benefits of the United Kingdom taking back control of its lives, that here in Scotland, like Norway, across the other side of the North Sea, in addition to all of that, you will get back a 200-mile exclusive fishing limit, and with it, thousands of jobs. Let us wipe the smirk off the face of the Edinburgh political establishment. Let's stun them in this referendum on June the 23rd. Thank you. All right.